how you like that voice? Okay, I'm gonna keep using that voice for you. Come on, Katie.
Skrilla, can you leave it? Hey.
Good.
Yes,
right there.
very
right
good,
there.
very
yes, good. Good job. Come on, Katie. Good job. Good timing. So you're getting faster. Good job. Come on, Katie. Come on, Katie. Yes, good girl. Oh my goodness, yes.
Good. You have a treat for that for checking in with you? Yes, very good.
Oh, just drop it.
Come on, Katie. Let's go. Come on, Katie.
Good boy.
Katie. Yes. Good girl.
Give him a treat for that
Excellent
too. You're very good.
job. I'm also purposely letting her meander in your space. I'm making it harder now. Come on, Katie. Let's go. Good girl, Katie. Good.
Can you leave it?
That's good. Good job. Come here, Katie. Good. Excellent. Good job. Good job. That's really good.
Skrilla, can you leave it?
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, what a good
Come on,
boy.
Katie.
Guys, we're here with Skrilla and Katie. We've taught Katie recall today. So recall being when we call Katie's name, we say yes to give her a treat. Recall is really important for Katie because she really needs to learn how to move away from Skrilla or the other dog just in case. She doesn't have leave it. Leave it will also be very helpful, but you could definitely teach her leave it the same way we taught Skrilla leave it. And what Skrilla is doing, Skrilla is learning how to leave her alone. So whenever he looks at Katie, or is in Katie's presence, we're saying leave it. Doesn't mean you have to leave it all the time, but we want to practice leave it so when we actually use it, when we need to use it, it actually works.
Skrilla. Yes.
Good. We're also saying his name and definitely reinforcing him whenever he responds to his name in the midst of Katie getting treats and being present. They both are doing really excellent today.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Good job.
Yes.
And you teach her leave, I see.
Yes.
If it works, use it.
Baby steps.
Yeah, baby steps, yes. So, Miss Katie, we focus on recall. Skrilla,
Leave it.
Yes, they're on a leash, but notice that we're giving them enough room to mess up, per se, but we're not letting them fail, if that makes any sense. So.
Good boy. Good.
Feel
Did you smell my shoe? It's not that interesting.
Oh, good job, Katie.
Just says
They both are doing excellent. Practice as shown. So, yes, they are both on leash, but we're trying to make sure that Skrilla isn't using the leash to help him make decisions, meaning Skrilla is starting to get to the end of that leash, and then he comes back to Gio. We don't want that. We want him to listen without feeling the tension on his neck. I hope that makes sense. We're trying to give him an illusion of freedom.
Hey, Skrilla. Can you leave it?
Yes, that's the one we're looking for, yes. Loose leash, he's still listening to leave it, which is awesome.
Good job. Good.
Skrilla, come.
Katie.
Skrilla, come.
Yes,
Good job. Good job. So the fact that he can do this without feeling any tension on their neck, meaning that we can comfortably take him off leash. The point about training is to make sure that they can perform without the tools, even the leash.
No treat for that. Skrilla.
Katie.
Leave it.
Katie.
Come on. Hey, Skrilla.
Katie. Katie.
Good boy.
Good job.
Good
Gio did not really good technique by Gio. I feel like a football narrator.
Right.
Really great technique by Gio. So when Skrilla wasn't listening, she did a technique we call hand to hand. She walked her hand up that leash.
Leave it. Yes.
Without having to pull Skrilla back. It's really important. They're on a leash, but the leash again is only there to give them the illusion of freedom.
Skrilla,
we're not
leave
going to jerk them away from each other. Even we're going to make sure that we don't put any pressure on the leash. So if he is not listening and we have to move him out to leave it, we're going to walk up that leash without really pulling him back. If that makes sense.
Yes.
Good job.
Yes. Yes. Skrilla.
It's really hard for Skrilla to ignore her butt.
Skrilla.
I'm gonna give him a jackpot treat. Yes, good boy. I'm really glad you can see how hard this is Skrilla on video.
Good, and on leash.
And on leash,
Very
yes.
difficult for him. Very good. So this is definitely one of those things where if you guys are actively practicing this, which I highly recommend, set aside time to actively practice. The other stuff that we've taught you, we've said weave it into your schedule, be a little more passive about it. But this, because it is multi-dominant, it's something that you guys really want to see fixed sooner rather than later.
Good boy.
You really want to practice this. That means you're going to need the treats handy. And it's, so make sure that whatever you're using is high value and we're actively constantly reinforcing it, even when he's getting on your nerves. Because there's going to be times, there's always times, you have multi-dog home, at some point they're going to be irritating as hell.
Yeah.
So you still, even on those days where you're like, okay, you finally leave her alone, I'm still going to give you a treat for it. Even though I feel like it's Not a good
If anything,
idea. It is a good idea.
I think the moments where he's annoying the most is the most important moments to actually reinforce the dog. Even my dogs, if they're not listening to their recall, if I call them, it takes them like a good solid minute for them to come back to me. I make sure that their reward is like heavy, high as hell. Right. And I find that the next time I call them, it's much simpler, you know?
Yes.
Good job.
Yes.
Can't teach them impulse control. And
Exactly. And they get pissed off when they don't perform and don't reward them for it, you know?
Yes. Yes.
And most importantly, I think the most common issue that we see with this particular problem, or problems that people express to us in general, is that they don't practice it before it's present. So they only ever practice when the problem is already there. And we tell people that's not, basically what you're looking for is you need to practice on the basis of prevention.
that's praying to God when you're in crisis.
Yeah, exactly. So don't wait until it's too late, because you're never going to win. You're just going to keep teaching the dog the same bad habits, and they're just like, okay, well, this is how I dog.
Right.
Be like,
Oh,
okay,
good boy,
well, we got to make sure that we set aside time. You guys are in the right, mind frame, and set aside the right time of day. If morning time, if you find that they're calmer, or maybe they're more agitated, maybe that's not the time, or maybe you're like, okay, it is annoying o'clock. I'm going to actively work on this with you guys, because you're usually super annoying around feeding times. There's usually times of days where the dogs are a little more active and more likely to get on your nerves. Another really good example of when to practice is when you come home, or if anybody's just coming home from work, if it's not too late. This is a great example, because it's those times of day where you really just want to come home and relax.
Right.
But the dogs don't let you relax. So that is like, even though you just came home and you want to relax, set aside 5 or 10 minutes before you kick off your shoes. And we're like, all right, we're going to work on this, because you guys get on my nerves. And I want to make sure that I can come home the next time and you guys not be irritated.
Yeah, and the more that we practice this, the more it becomes ingrained for the dogs. We actually have another household that we have 2 dogs. We just posted about her this morning, Rufio and Tonks. They actually were Rufio was much more bothersome than Skrilla was. He actually, no matter what Tonks did, his mouth was on her face all the time. And it got to the point where she was really trying hard to correct him without fighting him, but it almost got to that point. So what we taught him, leave it, all over, leave it. And now we can actually train them both together without much incident. So with practice, it definitely does help, guys. It works.
I have an idea to reset.
Wow. What a good girl. Hi, Katie girl. Hi, Katie girl. Hi.
I'm going to leave it too.
Skrilla, can you leave it? Skrilla, can you leave it?
Excellent. Good.
Very good.
Good job. You like these? The
Very
best day
good.
ever. Best day ever.
Very good.
Pepperonis and pets.
You really had to chew that one, huh? Okay.
That's these are coming out. Good.
Skrilla, can you leave it? Skrilla, can you leave it?
Beautiful. That's really great.
Very good.
What? Who's this dog? Who is he?
Good job.
I don't know him.
I don't know.
That was awesome.
It was so
He
good.
was Skrilla.
Katie.
Now he's a
Is
genius.
Skrilla, can you leave it?
Skrilla 2.0. This is for Katie.
Skrilla, can you leave it? Hey, can you leave it?
Good.
Very good.
Really good job, Mickey.
Yeah.
Very fun. I probably want to teach us to leave it.
Skrilla, can you leave it?
Yes,
Beautiful.
very
Good boy. Now, really important moment. You were giving Katie love, and he's like all in her Kool-Aid, literally.
Yeah.
That's a good time to ask for leave it. Yes, I'm giving her pets. Doesn't mean you get free range for her. All this back here. You gotta earn that. So, not right now.
Hi, Katie.
Katie. Yeah, ignore her,
Skrilla, can you
Katie.
leave it? Hey, can you leave it?
Good
Yeah,
job.
good job.
Good job.
Very good.
Good job.
That being said, there's been an hour of us doing this, and his behavior changes. And we didn't actually at any point really practice delivering treats to her first and then him, but everything comes together, and he's like, okay, well, I'm not supposed to be, you said leave it when in regards to her this entire time. He's like, okay, well, I'm just gonna let her get her treat, because apparently me leaving her alone is what you want me to do.
Right.
So what we just did right there, the practice, keep doing it. Ask for it again. I want you to ask them both to sit.
Hey, can y'all sit? Sit.
Good.
Skrilla,
And I
can you
want
sit?
you to slowly
Skrilla.
give Katie the treat. And I want you to say Katie's name before you give her the treat too, so she knows the treat is for her.
Okay.
I did it with my dogs, and I find it helps them even more.
Hey, Katie.
A little
This
slow.
one's for you, Katie. Here you go. You did pretty good, dude. It's a little extra.
You're teaching Skrilla that when Katie gets a treat, I get a treat too. So suffering through this is not really suffering. Waiting through this is worth it,
And I used to do this with mine I had, I have a Dobie puppy and then Beetlejuice is, it just seems normal.
Yeah.
A really good example of this is, if you guys are cooking, that's actually a perfect example. Usually when you're cooking, the dogs are like at attention.
Yeah,
somewhere
exactly.
really close. And you might even sneak a treat to just one. And that's a really good opportunity where you're like, no, Skrilla, I need you to leave it. I'm only giving this to Katie right now.
Okay.
But yeah, so practicing those things individually, but also leashing them up, making it really hard, having, even phasing out treats too. Doing this in a sense where, look, just because I told you to leave it doesn't actually mean you're always going to get a slice of cheese.
Right.
This is something that we do now.
Yeah.
And that actually making the treats more varied, not so predictable, will make them work actually a little bit harder because they're just like, well, I did it. When do I get my treat? And you're like, I want you to do it 4 more times before I